welcome. Hey everybody, it's Josh Gibbs here from pwpnation.com and TYT Sports coming to you for another edition of WWE News. Here what we're talking about is Hell in the Cell, which just wrapped up a few moments ago from the Staples Center in LA. Let's jump right into it. The very first match was the John Cena US Title Open Challenge. There was a lot of speculation about who was going to be coming out for this Open Challenge. Would it be an NXT wrestler? Would it be Daniel Bryan making his comeback? Nope. Instead, we were treated to Zeb Coulter. If you remember, Zeb Coulter was one of the Real Americans, a very anti-immigrant group. So we thought, okay, maybe it'll be Jack Swagger or Cesaro, one of the other members of Real Americans. I guess that could be okay. And instead we get Alberto El Patron, also known as Alberto Del Rio in the WWE, which is somewhat of a puzzling choice, considering that Zeb Coulter basically embodies a Donald Trump supporter. So it was a little weird to see a Mexican superstar coming out as his representative. But they come out and have what amounted to be a squash match. It was a squash match on John Cena. He was dominated from start to finish, and it was very, very puzzling to watch. Alberto Del Rio seemed like a superstar against him. And I don't know, you may or may not remember, but a few months ago, Alberto Del Rio left the WWE after an altercation backstage with an employee who allegedly told a racist joke that involved Del Rio. He confronted the employee and then assaulted him. There were also reports of him being very difficult to work with and a bunch of other things. So it was a little strange that the WWE invited him back. It's possible that amends were made and everything was forgiven, but we'll just have to see what's going to go on moving forward. So Rio squashes John Cena. Cena looked extremely weak in this match, and he got beat. Alberto Del Rio wins, and he is your new U.S. champ. So I really, really think that they're going to play up a Trump angle here. I can't understand how they would resist doing it, and they are not above it at all. Next up was Bray Wyatt versus Roman Reigns. This feud had been going on for a while, and this was something that I was really interested in at the beginning because they involved Roman Reigns' family. A storyline that involves family can really hit you in the heart and really get personal. However, there was word backstage that Roman Reigns was not comfortable using his daughter as a piece in the storyline. So they abandoned that altogether, and it just became a feud between the two men, which is still admittedly a great feud. And what I really want people to take away from this match is how hard Roman Reigns is working. He really got a raw deal after WrestleMania last year. The WWE tried to force the fans to like him. They tried to make him into the next Daniel Bryan or the next Rock, and the fans just soundly rejected it. And that's one of the reasons why Seth Rollins won the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 31. Roman Reigns was all set to win, and unfortunately Vince McMahon and the WWE just couldn't ignore the fans who were really loudly booing Roman Reigns, which is unfair. He was just right guy, wrong time. So I really hope that they understand how hard he's working for their respect. He's going to get there one day. It's going to happen. But they had a pretty solid match. Roman Reigns ends up the victor, and that ends the feud. So good for him. New Day versus the Dudley Boys. The New Day continues to be the best thing that the WWE has going for them. They keep providing entertainment in and out of the ring. Their mic skills are fantastic. They did the obligatory heel thing of trashing the city's local sports team when they made a joke against the Lakers. And they just keep showing why people love to hate them. They're a perfect heel squad, and I really hope that they keep giving them these chances. The Dudley Boys, on the other hand, I used to watch in ECW. I used to pay $10 to go to the War Memorial Auditorium and watch them get into fights with fans, real fights with real fans. And it was interesting to see, but they're older now. They've lost a little bit. They're a little bit slower, and unfortunately, they're just not as entertaining to watch as they used to be. So thankfully, the WWE did not have the New Day lose their belts, and the New Day retained, and they are still your tag team champions. Next up was Nikki Bella and Charlotte. I did not think that Charlotte was going to lose this match because she just became the Divas champion, and Divas matches are hit or miss these days. The Divas revolution is not really a revolution simply because there are more women wrestling. And what I really want to see from the Divas is give them their own identity. Charlotte is forever being tied to Ric Flair. Her theme music involves his theme music. Her entrance is reminiscent of his entrance. Until she gets her own identity, I don't think she's really going to see the kind of superstardom that they envision for their Divas. She needs to be her own person. Let her be her own person. Don't take away anything from her father. He's a two-time Hall of Famer. That absolutely is something to be celebrated. But let's not use it as a crutch. So let her do it on her own, and because she absolutely has the ability to do so. This match did see some great falls, great bumps. There was a great Alabama slam on the outside of the ring. There was almost what looked like a botched reversal off the top rope that could have gone really bad for both women and seriously hurt them. But to their credit, they kept on going and ended up turning in a pretty decent match. So I think that they're going to get better and better. They just have to get opportunities to really showcase what they can do. They do so well in NXT, and then something happens when they get on Raw and SmackDown, and the matches just aren't the same. There needs to be some kind of bridge between the qualities of these matches. But hopefully we're going to get there, because I want to see these women succeed and do well. Next up was Kane and Seth Rollins. The feud had been building up for a long time with the Demon Kane and Corporate Kane personas battling each other, Seth Rollins not knowing who was who and which way they were going to go. The stipulation in this match was that if Demon Kane lost, Corporate Kane would be fired from his position as Director of Operations. So there was a lot riding on it, at least for Kane. And for Seth Rollins, well, if he lost, he would no longer be World Heavyweight Champion. So they had a really good match. Seth Rollins, people don't like him because he's so annoying. But the thing about Seth Rollins is that he is a fantastic worker. His nickname is Captain CrossFit, and you can see exactly why. He works so hard in and out of the ring, doing so many good jumps and spots, and he just has a constant stream of energy flowing through him. So you can see that all that training really does pay off, and he works his butt off to make an entertaining match every single time. It's the same thing I feel about Cena. Whether you like or hate Cena, he puts it all out there every single time, every single match. So you've got to at least respect him for that. But the WWE was not brave enough to strip Rollins of the title, and unfortunately, Seth Rollins retained, and he is still your World Heavyweight Champion going forward. My fear is that they're going to keep the belt on him until WrestleMania, and then we'll see who's going to ultimately defeat him for the title. Right now, he's mowed through so many other contenders, there's nobody really vying for the chance right now. We'll see where they're going to set up with next. Next came Kevin Owens and Ryback, which is probably the most puzzling match of the evening. Kevin Owens had phenomenal matches against John Cena. Absolutely great, and that's really what put him on the map. And after that, he's just kind of been laying low. He's been suffering in this mid-card sort of purgatory. And unfortunately, this match did not do him any favors. Ryback is such a big, muscular, physical dude. I wish he also had the stamina to go along with that. Because as big as he is, he's also very slow. Whereas Kevin Owens, on the other hand, is a big guy the other way, but the way he moves around the ring is uncanny for a man of his size. The things he can do, his athleticism, is really, really surprising when you watch him. And I think he surprised a lot of people who had never seen him wrestle before with his John Cena matches. And I wish that they could have done the same thing here with Ryback, but unfortunately, the match was quick, the match was sloppy, and Kevin Owens retained his Intercontinental Championship. I think they just need to find a good fit for Kevin Owens. He can wrestle great matches with the right person. Obviously, he can't feud with Cena forever, but they had a great match. They had several great matches. They had a really good thing going. And I really want them to find someone just like that for Kevin Owens who they can keep him into a new feud with. Finally came the main event, Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker, the aptly named Hell in the Cell. And one thing I did know is that this match was not going to be vertical. And Hell in the Cell is notorious for the wrestlers going outside, climbing up onto the cell, and then the will they or won't they fall on the outside of it, as Mankind famously did. Or will they fall through it, as Mankind famously did. I mean, he set the bar way too high, I think, for Hell in the Cell matches. No one will ever stand up to his level. But one thing I knew is that Undertaker was not going to be climbing on top of the cells anytime soon. He's just simply too old for that. So how is the WWE going to make this interesting? How are they going to make a compelling match out of this? And they ended up doing it. This was really, really a great main event. A very, very solid match for these two men. Brock Lesnar, obviously the younger and the stronger of the two, but the fear was, is he going to have to carry Undertaker this entire match? Fortunately, he didn't have to. Both men traded blows back and forth. There were some great maneuvers. Brock Lesnar ended up getting cut and bled very quickly into the match. Just a few minutes in, his head got slammed into the ring post and he was busted wide open. So much so that a doctor had to come in and look at him. And then a few minutes after that, Undertaker was split open. So we go from the PG era WWE to the PG-13 era really fast in this match. Both men had some great near falls, some F5s. Undertaker kicked out of it. And then Brock Lesnar started going crazy. He got trapped into the Hell's Gate, which is the Undertaker's submission maneuver. He fights his way out of it and then starts giving these UFC punches to the Undertaker's face. And when Brock Lesnar punches, he punches. when some people in professional wrestling throw a punch, you can see it's obviously fake and they're pulling back and they're hitting them on the side of the neck or something like that. But Brock Lesnar, I think, sometimes gets a little confused as to where he is, and he forgets that he's not in the octagon anymore. Because he was really laying these hammer punches down on The Undertaker, and a few of them connected right into his face and his throat area and things like that. So I don't know if that's going to be addressed later, but it really looked pretty serious. So he fights his way out of the Undertaker's submission hold and then starts going crazy. He starts ripping the ring up. He's exposing boards on the bottom side of the ring and things like that, and kind of giving a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look into how a ring is put together, intentionally or unintentionally. So the match keeps going. All of a sudden, Undertaker gets him into the Tombstone Piledriver, and he kicks out. Well, how's this going to end? The Undertaker ends up being a victim of one of his own dirty tricks, and he gets hit right in the family jewels, the low blow, the always dreaded low blow, which in a match like this is perfectly legal. So Lesnar gets him in the low blow, picks him up for the F5, F5s him onto the exposed wood of the mat. 1, 2, 3. Match is over. Lesnar wins. The feud is ended. In all honesty, I'm happy that the match ended this way. I'm happy that the feud ended this way. The Undertaker is one of the, if not the most seasoned veteran in the WWE. He can win and lose a match as he sees fit. He understands that Brock Lesnar is the future of this company. He knows that the sunset on Death Valley is coming, and it is coming soon. So I'm glad to see that he's putting Lesnar over in this match in ways that he doesn't necessarily have to do, simply because the company is already behind Lesnar, and they are all in with him moving forward. Now, what's going to be the next pay-per-view? It is Survivor Series. Now, Undertaker is scheduled to headline Survivor Series. So is he going to have his own match with someone else? Is he going to have a team-up match? Who knows? What we do know is that the Wyatt family will be involved somehow. Because after the match, the Wyatt family came out and laid an absolute beating on The Undertaker and then carried his seemingly lifeless body outside of the arena. So that is going to lead us into the next feud coming forward into the Survivor Series. So all in all, thought it was a very decent pay-per-view. It's definitely your money's worth, especially if you're a subscriber to the WWE Network. And speaking about that, if you are a subscriber, highly recommend you check out Breaking Ground, the new series for the WWE about what it takes to be a superstar. It's a lot better than some of the other reality trash shows that they've done. It's a really great look into exactly how hard these people work and how all that hard work sometimes doesn't pay off. Most times they don't make it into the WWE, but it's very interesting to see what they have to go through day in and day out just for a shot at that dream. So if you like wrestling, like professional wrestling and like that kind of stuff, highly suggest you check that out. That's all for me. Thanks again to TYT, and please follow me at Chief Joshiola on Twitter. You can also look at my articles and many other great pieces at pwpnation.com. Thanks again, everybody. See you soon. Bye-bye.